Hello guys, welcome to another country's episode. So I'm going to do some quick briefing. Okay, I will promise and I'll do a pledge that if we hit 50 subscribers, I'm going to make a video playing every single type of ideology. I already in TNO. I already played as Novosibirsk and Altai as a republic. I've also played as Omsk as the nihilistic state, and I'm currently playing monarchist Komi, and then after that I'll play as Pomhaven and then the Siberian Black League. No, I don't remember what it is. The anarchists in Kansk. So yeah, that's my promise. And only 73% of you guys are subscribed. So yeah. Anyway, I've added an extra layer called fertile land to show where all the good land is. So anyway, yeah. Anyway, with the Danubian Federation, in doing its preparation, it plans two plans. Operation Dusseldorf is to attack these guys, and Operation Thunderstorm to attack these guys is the Anatolians. So yeah. Anyway, Norway, with the powerful naval technology, will take advantage of it and start selling the goods to many other places. This includes Iberia. So, because of this, Iberia will now set sail. Once again, I gotta fix the color of this. Iberia will now set sail to capture the Azores, which they will successfully do. So, yeah, now Iberia owns the Azores. More land for them. Anyway, Morocco will finally complete its total discovery of the Canary Islands. So yeah. Now back over to Egypt. Now let's see what Egypt's plan is. Their plan is to mainly try and discover all the land in between. So yeah, they will mainly discover the land between Tanzania and Ethiopia, while Egypt also simultaneously starts sending explorers into the Sahara. So yeah, this is mainly what is discovered by Egypt, as Egypt is attempting to make a Saharan push to see if there's any more natural resources in the Sahara. I think they're pushing way too far into the Sahara, so I'm going to make it a bit more realistic by removing this part. So yeah, now Alaska will start its expansion and by annexing this part before pushing further. So yeah. So now they'll finally capture parts of Cascadia. So yeah. Okay. So yeah. 1 second, guys. So anyway, guys, that's what Alaska will start claiming from Canada. So yeah, this is the North American expansion. So yeah, after the detriment of the loss in Atlantis, once again I need to color in this one pixel. America seeks to try and regain stability by expanding outwards. So they will do just that. While in the very north, Canada will continue pushing after they discover this weird kind of grayish country known as Norway. So they are incredibly fearful of Norway, so the Canadians will start claiming much of the north. So yeah. Now Norway will start attempting to expand into further parts of Greenland, as they have apparently started discovering that there is in fact how to put this, resources. So they want to attempt to exploit the resources of the area. So they end up pushing more north. So yeah. And eventually, it is agreed by the great powers to just give Norway all of Greenland. And because be honest, who has such powerful technology like Norway? And even if Norway starts fighting with someone over Greenland, Norway can easily just cut them off from their boats, which are incredibly valuable. So yeah. Anyway, the alliances. Now, at last time, we have seen the formation of the new Republican ideals. The new ideals. I would just call them the New World Order. So, or TNO. It's a TNO reference. Anyway, so Japan will start off by declaring war on Korea, who just recently, after fighting a war with China, tensions rise in the alliance. So because of it, Korea leaves. So let me propose a better solution. Alpha power and then erase. What? I've been doing it wrong. Sorry guys. So yeah. Anyway, Korea leaves the alliance. So Japan takes this advantage and declares a war against Korea, attempting to retake its southern coastline, and so Japan will start pushing through, but sadly there are some annoying rebels for Japan in the very north who are pro-monarchy, which are supported by Siberia. So yeah. But this ends up backfiring as the monarchist rebellion spreads to certain areas. So now it's actually in Siberia's interest to put them down. So Siberia will start using its counter-offensive as an attempt to push back to the new borders, to the old borders, which seems kind of like a success. Anyway, Japan ends up having to turn around and mainly focus on the rebels. This rebel group is incredibly weak, as all they have is an outpost, and eventually that collapses. So yeah, it was and in my opinion, a very pathetic attempt. Japan decides to expand its mining operations across the land, including many other nations. So, Japan expands its mining operations along with China, as China will start doing mining operations in the south and also into the Himalayas. So, yeah. Over here, the Central Asian guys will start doing mining operations in the Xinjiang mountains, right over here. So they'll start mining at the mountains, while the Georgians will mine out the Caucasian mountains along with the Ukrainians. Now with the red team, what will the red team do? They will start extracting stuff from the Yemeni mountains, along with the Nubian desert coast. So and they also start extracting parts from Mecca and Hejaz. So yeah, while Carthage will start mining campaigns in the Atlas Mountains. So yeah, and Morocco will mine in the Canary Islands. So, and Iberia will mine in the Pyrenees, and France here will do mining operations. In West Ireland. So yeah, and Germany will do mining operations in the Alps. Same thing with Italy. Sorry. And the Danubian guys will do mining operations in the Carpathian, and well, I'm so out of breath from saying this. And Russia will do mining operations in the Urals. Is the Urals even close? Yeah, kind of close. So yeah, near the Urals. While also doing mining operations in the north. And Norway will do mining operations further inland of Scandinavia, along with Sweden. So yeah. Now, Norway will also start doing the mining operations in Newfoundland and in Greenland to extract Greenlandian resources. So yeah, along with some in Iceland and some for Hungary. So yeah, with this massive resource excavation and going on in so many countries, is the economy of countries ends up going up and up and up. So yeah. Now, how is Japan's progress as against the Koreans? The Koreans make that's major cities. The Koreans end up making a landing in the very north, but Japan is able to eventually kick out almost all of the Koreans from the city, from Kyushu, from the island of Kyushu, except for this little resistance, and they invade the island of Jeju and the surrounding islands. So because of this, they have naval superiority in the very south, and they are able to recapture Shinjuku. So yeah, and eventually the city is captured, and Japan starts their naval invasion of Korea, and Korea ends up being forced to surrender. So here's what's going to be the peace treaty. Korea will mainly keep parts of the south, like something like this. So something like this. What? Why you like that? Why? Anyway, but Korea is in fact forced to lease the port of Busan. I believe that's what it's called. No, the port of Busan. I believe that's what it's called. So to Japan. So this results in a Japanese victory. So yeah, that's the War of East Asia. Now for South Asia, India will do its first strike back. The first war will be against Hyderabad. So the main goal is to attempt to cut off the capital from the cities over here, which they will unsuccessfully do, as the Indians have just lost a war. So yeah, so there's this very small and incy-wincy connection into Hyderabad's capital, and India will start the siege of Goa. Oh no, Goa is right over here. I don't know what the city name is called. So yeah, this major city, and India will start pushing mainly in the north as an attempt to cut off Pakistani aid, but this also fails. So Hyderabad is mainly squeezed on both sides. So yeah. India continues pushing and leaves an incredibly small gap between Hyderabad and the capital and the area. So signals from the capital are barely even coming in, and Hyderabad desperately wants a counteroffensive, and a counteroffensive they will get. So Hyderabad will successfully do a small counteroffensive, widening the corridor between Hyderabad and the rest of their country. So yeah, but surprisingly, this major city falls to India, which is one of their first successes, and the Indians will quickly start pushing up and successfully encircle all the Pakistani aid divisions of there. So now, that means Hyderabad is basically completely encircled from the outside world. But a Hyderabadi force will successfully end up recapturing sea access, so Pakistani divisions can still start flowing in to support Hyderabad. Because of this, India has a partial victory in there. So they have one victory here, they have 2 losses and 1 partial victory, successfully cutting off the northern flank, but Pakistan can still flow through through here. And India's navy isn't what it's supposed to be, as Vietnam took most of its major ports. So because of that, India is incredibly weak, because they only have this port, this broken down port, whereas they literally have 1 port, 2 port, and it's all broken down ports from a siege bridge of Hyderabad. So this is why it was so important for the Indians to capture the city, because if they did, that means the navy will become more powerful in the Arabian Sea. So yeah. Anyway, India will quickly recapture and finally besiege the area before pushing the divisions as they flee to the capital of Hyderabad, and it's finally captured. So yeah, India's next target is Bangladesh in Calcutta. So India will mainly start doing their pushes across this because Bangladesh was expecting India to go after Pakistan, not them. So Bangladesh is incredibly unprepared for the massive offensive in the north and a massive spearhead toward the capital. So yeah, they aren't really expecting it. So yeah, they aren't expecting this. So because of this, the Bangladeshi people end up having to quickly mobilize. So yeah, once the Bangladeshi army is mobilized, they are able to do some very small counteroffensives against India. So yeah, and for yeah. Anyway, after a while of back and forth, India does a massive counteroffensive and a spearhead to the major cities. So yeah, and eventually is able to capture one of Bangladesh's key mines, as Bangladesh has very little, as they did not invest in infrastructure in the correct time. So this iron mine is basically the backbone of Bangladesh's rule. They're such a really new nation, and they cannot establish trade networks. So yeah. Anyway, this city will eventually be captured, and after a while, Calcutta is captured, and Bangladesh surrenders. So here's going to be the peace treaty. Okay, guys, I have done the peace treaty. This is the peace treaty. India will take large swaths of territory, taking over 3 major cities and 1 mine, but Bangladesh still exists, just as a puppet of India, as integration will start to begin. And I forgot how. So, this is supposed to be part of India. So yeah. Anyway, now local Bangladesh has a much weaker authority in the Himalayas after a loss of this important major city. So yeah. Now, India will do its final offensive against the Pakistanis. So yeah. So India will do first things first. They'll take advantage of the new and fully and the incredibly strong navy to do many naval invasions. Not as strong as Vietnam or China's, but a decent navy. Perfect for Indian reunification. So yeah, first things first, India will easily capture some bordering cities, along with connecting the naval invasion and encircling the guards around this area. So yeah, next things next, India will capture this mine, and they'll also threaten and the capital, I believe it's Lome, something like that. Anyway, India will also besiege this city along with this city and this city from Calcutta. So yeah. Now, Pakistani forces is having so much time to prepare. Now are able to mainly hold the ground and will start actually doing their very own offensive against India, starting to beat them back. So yeah. But their offensives, like one of their planned offensives through this peninsula, is stopped as a massive Indian spearhead is seen marching to many major cities in the south as a goal, mainly to cripple the trade economy. Next things next, an Indian spearhead had successfully encircles a massive portion of Pakistan's army, and after the capture of the city, the Himalayas quickly fall too. So Pakistan's collapsing very quickly at the moment, but is in a desperate counteroffensive if the Pakistanis will successfully recapture their mine. So yeah, and also recapture this area, but it's too late. The Himalayas, the Pakistani Himalayas, have already fallen. Now, one last thing the Indians are thinking. Once they finally reach this major city right here, they will finally defeat the Pakistanis, as this will permanently cripple their economy, as they are a trade-based society. So, once this port is captured, these guys are incredibly crippled. As Red Team hates them because they really badly want all their Iranian territories. This includes the Indus Valley, which is owned by Pakistan. So, the only friendly bordering nation is now Central Asia. But guess what? India is there, and they are easily doing raiding. So eventually, the raiders are eventually told to do a massive offensive along the border and try and spearhead to this major city. This is a massive threat of encirclement, and by the shock of the raiders, the Indians successfully encircle the capital, which causes the fall of the outside areas and causes the fall of Pakistan, as none of the soldiers in the outside cannot receive radio telecom. So yeah, this is going to be the peace treaty. Okay guys, this is the peace treaty. So yeah, I forgot to mention puppets are not supposed to have capitals. So Lahore was the old capital of Pakistan. I just remember that. And Kolkata. So yeah, the Indians successfully reclaimed their territory, and after a long time of infighting in the council, they decide to annex more Pakistani areas as Okay, I do not know what on earth just happened, but what they will mainly do is capture this Himalayan territory and capture this Himalayan territory. So, yeah, and let me erase this capital real quick, and let me erase this capital real quick. I actually know what happened. I accidentally created an extra paint layer. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, I accidentally created a new paint layer. So, yeah, the Indian Empire is back. Like a phoenix, it has risen back. with the two protectorates over Pakistan and Bangladesh. So yeah, after even more weakening of the Bangladeshi parliament, which is already a puppet of India, Bangladesh is forced to hand over most of their Himalayan territories. So Bangladesh is now basically just hiding there in Bengal. They own all of Bengal, and that's it. While Pakistan owns just Afghanistan and parts of Iran and Pakistan. So yeah. Anyway, let's go to good old Europe. So now, after so many years of preparing, the alliance believes it's finally time. Finally, time to execute their plan. Since the purple team has claims on German land, they promised Latvia that once they go to war with Germany, they will do it. Anyway, the purple team will do Operation Stormtrooper, which is to storm down into the gold team, which they will successfully do, as the men are incredibly brave and aggressive, which is a shock to the yellow team, because defectors are very few and far. So because of this, the purple team has an incredibly easy time just storming into Izmir, which causes these celebrations as finally the Anatolian coast has been recaptured, one that has been lost by the old purple government. That means this government is officially winning more battles. So, yeah. Anyway, something is going to be hidden in the newspapers, which is the incredibly successful gold team offensive, successfully capturing roads and almost kicking all of purple team out of Anatolia and landing in Crete, along with pushing and recapturing the Dardanelles. So, yeah. So the purple team will finally push and do a massive counteroffensive, successfully securing the Aegean coast. Finally. So yeah, they'll finally secure the Aegean coast, and they'll start besieging Constantinople before encircling Constantinople and mainly capturing cities. But there's one single thing that you have forgotten. You may be wondering, why are the soldiers not surrendering? Because there was a plan B, because Constantinople was incredibly vulnerable from attacks from Danubia. So the soldiers have all the plans to counter Danubia right in their hands, as it's been said right even before the war. So all the strategies are still in their hands. So according to the plan, and the main goal is to try and hold Izmir, and if that fails, try and hold in the mountains of Izmir, which they will do, and they will do small skirmishes and counteroffensives in the mountains of Anatolia. So yeah, this is a shocker to purple team. So yeah, and because of this, Constantinople does fall, but the soldiers do not surrender, because they don't even know that Constantinople fell, and they do not care that Constantinople fell. So the purple troops are ending up dealing with an incredible and horrible slog of a battle. So yeah, they will end up finally capturing this area. So yeah, but the soldiers still are not surrendering. This is a real shocker to the purple team, as they literally have nothing left. They have barely anything, yet they refuse to surrender the army. So yeah. Anyway, another city is captured. The yellow team still refuses to surrender, because the Danubian army. You know, I'll just call it Danubia. I'll just call it Danubia. So Danubia wasn't expecting the fact that the yellow team would be putting up such a brave and bold fight. So they are forced to do a massive and deadly counteroffensive all the way to Ankara, just to finally cause the capitulation of the soldiers. After this, after this shocking success, as for the gold team, the purple team mainly has to do so much cloning. So yeah, this is mainly a massive success for the alliance, the Pentagon alliance, as India has beaten all the rivals except for Vietnam and China and the red team. Japan has beaten Korea, and the purple team has beaten the Anatolian country. So yeah. Anyway, back to religion. After a huge while, the Danubia will finally core Constantinople. You may be asking me, how do they core Constantinople? With force. Anyone caught with any religion and any instructions of the Turkic dudes will be completely erased. So yeah, after lots of erasing, the whole coast of Izmir has been completely erased into the Greek religion. So yeah, this is a shocker for the Anatolian guys. Now, but there was one area where the Anatolians stay strong. It's in the red team, as they do not give up hope, as the red team actually, after dealing with so many wars and the battles, they are actually forced to make the northern guys is independent due to how strong the resistance is against the red team. So yeah, this is a success for the independence fighters, as these guys fought so hard that the red team had to release them as a puppet, of course. So yeah, red team ends up having to release these guys as a puppet. I need to regain. They need to have the Mediterranean coast. So this is going to be the Anatolian country. So yeah, red team has mainly as access to all is the dream. They have the dream. They have access to the four seas: the Arabian, the Persian, and Gulf of the Arabian Gulf, of the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea, along with the Caspian Sea, which is not a sea, it's a lake. So yeah, they basically have everything they possibly could have wanted. So now back over to Europe. Tensions are rising between two countries. Which countries? The tensions are rising between France and Germany, between their alliances, as Germany's alliance is been formed mainly to secure the incredibly important Silk Road. As you can see, this is the Silk Road, right here, this road. It connects places as far as China and even in Siberia, all the way to very far away places. That's why it is so very important and to the nations. So, what is this? Put this pencil here. Anyway, so after a while of debating, the Bamboo Alliance declares war on Germany. Now, because Germany was on the brink of collapse, many anti-German sentiments will be launched. First one, Poland. A workers' uprising mainly focused on making Germany more of a republic. In the west of Germany, mainly on the Jutland Peninsula and Flanders, there will be an uprising for the workers, a communist uprising in most of the Jutland and Peninsula. Oh, I see. So, yeah. And third, there will be the British uprising right over here, of course, in Britain. So, yeah. And finally, the last one is a fascist kind-esque, mainly in southern Germany, like right over here. Like here. So yeah. So Germany would do the classic thing in sending ultimatums to them. I would consider this leaning to the Republicans. So yeah. Anyway, France will do what France does and start capturing parts of here and start pushing into Alsace-Lotharing. And even worse for Germany, Latvia will take advantage of this and send an ultimatum to Berlin, demanding Lithuania. Since Germany is in so much chaos, they are ending up forced to release Lithuania before Latvia invades it and taking it. Another win for the Pentagon alliance. Now, massive parades are being celebrated in all of the Pentagon countries because they have succeeded. They have succeeded greatly. Japan has succeeded in beating Korea. India has succeeded in beating Bangladesh and Pakistan. Latvia has succeeded in taking Lithuania. And finally, the Popo team has succeeded in taking over Anatolia. So yeah, Carthage. What about Carthage? I'll ignore the war for a little bit to expand Carthage. Carthage, after realizing that there's barely any land to expand and hearing this mythical, incredibly useful land down south, Carthage will start pushing down south through the Sahara Desert in an attempt to reach this mythical land that they speak in Western Africa. Now, the German Civil War explodes into a catastrophe as France will move all the way into the Rhine. So, yeah. But the Rhine is not very industrialized, it's more of the center. But Germany will take advantage of the weakest area and will start pushing up into the Jutland Peninsula. While they'll take advantage of the lack of a center, because in this country no one can decide whether they want to be a fascist or secede into Italy. So because of this into the Republic of Croatia. So because of this country ends up easily falling to the German might. So yeah, I'm going to leave this for the next episode, and then yeah, goodbye, peace out, and whatever you say.